Question mark. Plus, what a night. Shohei Ohtani's historic Midsummer Classic and how the spotlight was stolen by his biggest competitor in the MVP race.
An absolute no-doubter.
Finally go out there and get the W so I can be like, yeah, grandma got the gold back in 2021.
We begin SportsCenter with breaking news from the National Football League related to All-Pro cornerback Richard Sherman. Adam Schefter, our insider, joins us with the latest. Adam, what can you tell us?
Well, Sage, Richard Sherman was arrested early this morning in Redmond, Washington. That is the police department that essentially arrested him and booked him. Bail was denied. Now, police in Redmond would not confirm the name of the person, but it matches up to where at 2 a.m. Pacific time, police received a 911 call from a residence. The person calling said that an adult male family member who did not live there was attempting to force his way into the home. Police arrived. Suspect was located outside the home, fought with police but was eventually apprehended, was taken to a hospital to be checked but was cleared, and then booked into the King County Correctional Facility where he is right now. It's called Burglary DVNINV, which is basically burglary, domestic violence investigation. But in Washington, burglary is defined as entering a premise with intent to commit a crime. It does not mean a suspect is trying to steal anything. The IMV means the case is still being investigated, and my understanding is he has to remain in jail until he appears before a judge, and we'll wait to see when that happens. But obviously a negative headline for Richard Sherman, who remains a free agent right now, and you wonder how this will affect and impact his NFL future going forward. Obviously, teams that would have been interested in him will want all the details they can get about this particular incident, about what did unfold before anybody would even consider signing Richard Sherman. But something like this has to jeopardize his future and NFL career.
Absolutely. Richard Sherman, a three-time first-team All-Pro, five-time Pro Bowl cornerback, and this happened outside of Seattle, where he spent the first 7 years of his illustrious career before going to San Francisco for the last 3. But again, Adam, since he is a free agent cornerback, what does the NFL do in this case? Just wait and see if he gets signed? What happens?
Yeah, well, listen, I think that's exactly. When I spoke to teams this morning, I spoke to the 49ers early this morning when I first heard about it. They were taken aback, surprised that somebody that they knew, as well as Richard Sherman, who had impressed them as much as he had, could be involved in an incident like this where he is arrested on a domestic violence charge in Seattle and denied bail. Now, again, I think probably with camps coming up here in the next couple of weeks, teams are probably looking at reinforcements, and my sense would be that nobody would sign him right now until they get more information from police on what this situation is, means, and how it will impact him going forward.
And one thing about Richard Sherman, all of us who followed the NFL, I mean, he has been known for his work in the community, regarded in so many ways, nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award back in 2015. Again, right now, we don't have many more details except for the fact that he has been arrested and denied bail. Again, all of this according to our Adam Schefter with the very latest. So, Adam, I know you'll keep us up to date. Thanks so much for reporting, again, on Richard Sherman, arrested outside of Seattle. The NFLPA released a statement just minutes ago, and here is what it said. We were made aware of an arrest last night of one of our player leaders for an alleged domestic violence incident and have activated our domestic violence crisis protocol for the protection and support of everyone involved. We'll continue to monitor events closely as more facts are made available to us, end quote.
Now moving on to Game 4 tonight. NBA Finals, Bucks Suns, 9 p.m.
Optimistic about their future in Miami. Tua will be asked to improve on his 11 touchdowns and 5 interceptions while splitting time with Ryan Fitzpatrick last season in Green Bay. Jordan Love has benefited from Aaron Rodgers' beef with management. He's been getting all the first-team reps in OTAs and minicamp and could be the starter if Rodgers is traded away. Then there's Jalen Hurts. After taking over for Carson Wentz late last season, Hurts is expected to carry the load in Philly this year. Marcus Spears is back in the building. Who wants to start here? You want to?
Thank you for having me, Molly. Thank you for having me because listen,
it wasn't you too soon.
Golly, I'm like I do want to come back. I miss my people.
I always want these good vibes. I always want the energy.
I don't know why you're blocking Marcus.
Can't wait to have you back in the building.
I don't know why you're blocking Marcus. We all love him on this show. What's the problem with Marcus?
We do.
Come on, man. Let's go.
Can I live?
All right, now let's fight.
All right. I'll start with you then. Marcus, which sophomore quarterback needs to step up the most?
Yeah, to me, it's Jalen Hurts, Molly. And because not only is Jalen Hurts trying to show Philly that they have a guy, but for his career. Right? Well, like we know what preceded him in the league. And Jalen Hurts was not a prolific passer. We all know what transpired at Alabama with him and Tua and how they wanted him to go downfield. I believe Jalen Hurts needs to take the biggest step, not only for his franchise, not only to prove that they have a guy that they can move forward with, which I believe they do, but for his future, his NFL future. You don't want to get into that vein or that lane where it's like, okay, he's a legit backup who can come in for a couple games and give us a reprieve until our guy gets ready, or to be in that continuous vicious cycle of being a quarterback or a starter on a team, but your franchise and organization is continually looking for a guy to come in to be the starter and take it to another level. So I think Jalen Hurts needs to make a statement. I believe he can make a statement. And based on the things that I've heard this offseason about how he has guys working out and the understanding in the offense and what they're going to do in Philly with him and that athletic ability, and some of what we saw when he came in as a starter last year taking over for Carson Wentz, it wasn't great by any means, but we saw the trends in which this league and these guys are having success at the quarterback spot. Jalen Hurts has all to gain and a lot to lose. That's why I think for him, this sophomore campaign is the most important out of all of these guys.
No, it's Tua by far. Tua Tagovailoa. How'd you miss this one, Marcus? Look, Hurts he has to step up. There's no doubt about it. Like his kind of career is on the line right now, and there are guys who need to step up. But Tua Tagovailoa is on a team right now that if they had a real quarterback, like a Super Bowl caliber quarterback, they might win the Super Bowl. They're ready. Look, that defense is real. They have offensive weapons. They added an offensive weapon where you get him the ball 5 yards out and he could take it to the house in Waddle, right? They have everything they need. They have an excellent coach. That's a team that's ready to win now. And you know what? Most people are taking them third in the division. And why are they taking them third in the division? Because you believe in Belichick, you believe in Josh Allen, and I think people still don't know about Tua Tagovailoa. He was the second quarterback taken in that draft. Imagine if Miami right now had Joe Burrow, even coming off the injury. Based on what we saw in Joe Burrow, people would be more bullish on Miami. Imagine if they had Justin Herbert. If Miami had Justin Herbert, who was taking one spot after Tua, they'd be a Super Bowl pick for some people. They'd be right there, if not the Super Bowl this year, in the near future. Tua's the guy. We saw certain good things from him last year, but certain things where you go, okay, we don't know. The jury is still out. He has to make sure that jury files in this season, Marcus, because he's the guy on the team that's ready.
All right, we're going to keep it going, guys.
Molly, you...
Yeah. I was just going to say, Marcus, I wanted to ask you this. With Jalen Hurts, would you say he's the quarterback in the NFC East that you trust the least?
Yes. No, actually. I don't know if Daniel Jones is going to take care of the football. And it's really based on Daniel Jones' sample size of him turning the football over so much. I want to trust it. I've seen things from Daniel Jones that you say, wow, this guy can be really good. He can be enough for the New York Giants. But then you see the other things and you ask yourself, what the hell is he doing at the quarterback spot? So it'll be Daniel Jones with the trust factor for me. One thing I know about Jalen Hurts is going to compete at an uber level. He's going to use his athleticism to get him out of trouble. Daniel Jones is athletic, but sometimes he acts like he's afraid to use it to get himself out of trouble, which leads to bad decisions. So right now I would have Daniel Jones as the guy I trust the least because he's given me more things to not trust about what he's doing. Well, but when you look at Jalen, and I get it, what you're saying, Max, about Tua, and look, for the sake of argument, you're more right than I am on Jalen Hurts. I was thinking of it in a context of a quarterback that needs to play for his absolute NFL future. I believe Tua have way more opportunities if it doesn't pan out or work out in Miami.
One guy's a first-round pick, one guy's a second-round pick.
Exactly. So for me,